Hey Subfuries! This is part 2 of us working out how a Mon could have possibly taken away people's powers, and I highly recommend that you watch part 1 before continuing, where we talked about how bending is the ability to manipulate chi and control the flow of chi inside your body, and so mastery of the chakras, which can be opened or closed by certain emotions or states of mind, could control bending abilities. Today we'll be going into a lot more depth about that and through some really cool examples. Let's get started. Beyond the avatar state referred to in the last video, there are actually a number of other suggestions that how open or closed the elemental chakras are affects the ability to bend that element, most prominently in Zaheer and Iroh. Zaheer gains the ability to fly after Pali, his lover, is killed in an explosion in the second to last episode of the 3rd season. Flight is an airbending / spiritual technique, and the air chakra is blocked up by grief. Pali was his only earthly attachment, and so was his grief after she died. Yet, he let that grief go. In fact, in the next episode, he never even mentions her name. He doesn't even seem angry at the people who killed her. Talk about moving on quickly.
Let go your earthly tether. Enter the void, empty, and become wind.
By letting her and that grief go, he unblocked his air chakra and allowed the chi to flow more freely through it. It gave him way more control over the element of air and thus the ability to fly. On a side note, he probably also opened up the thought chakra because he left behind all earthly attachments. Secondly, Iroh and lightning redirection. I had an animation put together by Ain the animator to demonstrate how lightning redirection works. Isn't it just amazing? Seriously, you should go check out her channel. There's a link to it in the description below. She's also the one that put together the amazing animation for our Dragon Tournament series. See, when Iroh taught Zuko about lightning redirection, an offshoot of firebending, he made through the stomach, a sea of chi, and coincidentally, precisely where the fire chakra is located. As you can see in this animation, mastery over the firebending chakra is essential to utilizing this advanced firebending technique. And the fact that chakras can impact bending is reinforced in the fact that only in the Day of the Sun, when Zuko finally confronts his father and realizes his destiny is to help the Avatar, could he finally redirect lightning. We know the fire chakra is blocked by shame, and only by Zuko letting go of that shame of never being good enough for his father who neglected and abused him could he unblock the fire chakra and allow enough chi to flow through it for him to utilize that advanced firebending technique, redirecting lightning. But I also wanted to mention some other, perhaps less significant examples of chakras impacting bending too. Mastery of the fire chakra is reinforced by Sparky Sparky Boom Man, who clearly contracts his stomach, demonstrating absolute control of his fire chakra before using that specialized firebending technique. On top of that, Bolin was incredibly fearful as he was fleeing a flow of lava, and only when he turned around and faced his fears did he manage to actually lava bend. The earth chakra, as mentioned before, is blocked by fear. He faced this fear, unblocked that chakra, and got access to that advanced earthbending technique. There are two major issues with this theory though. One, it has appeared that even though benders can feel shame or guilt or grief or fear, it has never diminished their ability to bend the elements. In other words, we've never seen an earthbender become less powerful because they're fearful, or we never saw Aang or Tenzin become less powerful airbenders because they were suffering from grief. But it is notable that in the examples where we can see chakras affecting the ability to bend, it is always advanced bending techniques and not basic bending techniques. Lava bending, flight, combustion bending, and lightning. One possible explanation for this is that emotions can't completely block up a chakra. The water will still flow down through the pools like the chi through the chakras, so it never affects basic bending techniques, which don't require nearly as much chi or nearly as much mastery over that chakra, while advanced bending techniques require mastery over both that emotion and over that chakra. The second issue is that if Aang actually managed to completely unblock all of his elemental chakras with Guru Patik, then surely that would mean, under this theory, that he had access to all of those advanced bending techniques, right? Not quite. I'm a poet and I know it. In Hindu belief, it's accepted that chakras can become blocked up again, even if you potentially unblocked them before. Aang never completed the full enlightenment process with Guru Patik, so while he may have had the potential to, say, combustion bend and sand bend and lava bend and fly and so on, they would have A, never occurred to him, or B, they would have become lost once the chakras became blocked up again with certain emotions. And this would actually explain why he struggled so much with lightning redirection when he was facing Ozai. Like, we saw him do it, but then he pretty much collapsed, nearly unconscious after doing so. Aang was incredibly powerful, but he was also racked by shame throughout most of the series. Shame that would make it difficult for chi to flow through his fire chakra and make it more difficult to redirect lightning. It's also explained that he struggled with earthbending in general because obviously earth and air were so opposite to one another, and it was opposite to his personality. And I don't think he ever really wanted to bloodbend. So do chakras affect elemental bending? I think there's strong evidence to say yes. Number 1, bending is controlled by the ability to manipulate chi. Number 2, elemental chakras and the ability of chi to flow through your body can be blocked or freed by certain emotions or states of mind. Number 3, having a partially blocked elemental chakra doesn't affect basic bending techniques because they don't require nearly as much chi. Number 4, mastery over a particular elemental chakra and the emotion associated with it will allow you to use advanced bending techniques because you have so much more access to the chi flowing through that particular chakra. I said this would be about Mon's ability to take bending away, and it's connected for this. If this theory is true, then how could waterbending's ability to manipulate the chi in another person be associated with a more permanent form of chi blocking? We'll talk about that soon enough. But that's all from me. Oh man, I've been filming for a long time. My question for you Subfuries is, what is your favourite episode of either Aang or Korra? Let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, feel free to follow me on Twitter, Wattpad, Facebook, and if you've made stuff, feel free to send it at the address or email me in the links in the description below. Stay nerdy Subfuries, and I'll see you in the future.